Hey, what's good everyone? Theory here, and we're back with more community replays where you will send in your replays. We try and break them down, try and learn a few things, figure out some matchups and some places we can improve. Let's get right into this. This is Keko's Gran versus Ferry, and we'll see how this one plays out. I mean, that's a beautiful way to start a round. It's cool to establish that you're willing to go for things like this pretty early on. Getting it off round start is quite common. I think people go for it, but making a Ferry wary of pressing buttons from half screen away is always going to be a good thing to establish. Give them a bit of nervousness on pressing buttons. Okay, so you run up here. Now, obviously you need to run up after the DP. What you see more often than not is people will run up and then do like a far H, or they'll throw a fireball out early and then run up behind the fireball. This is kind of like a you know that I know sort of situation, where if you do the run up and do the H, you can frame trap her basically. But if they don't know that, if they do know that, then it gives you opportunity to get closer and do things like throw or just like a close button. The Ferry player mashes out. I like to personally go for the safe option early on, but it kind of depends on how much you respect your opponent. Goes for a soup jump here. Interesting. So jumping on Ferry is really important to do. Her anti-airs are pretty, they're good, but like very in specific ways. So she has 3 anti-airs, right? Her 2H, which is awesome but slow, her DP, which is awesome but still pretty slow, and her close H, which is very range specific. Now, the slow options become way better if you super jump, because she has more time to react. It's pretty simple. Normal jumping is typically what you want to go for. It beats her out way more often than normal. I understand super jumping, you sometimes do it to get that extra distance, but because of Gran's run speed, I would recommend much more just running up and jumping normally. But, you know, it works, so what am I saying? I'm playing a bit careful of the DP. It feels like you're trying to bait the DP out quite heavily. Okay, block button, good stuff. Gets hit by the overhead, that's fine. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. This is the interesting thing about this matchup. Because of all of the options Gran has between boot, fireball, jump, run forward is like the best thing in this matchup. It's gross how good run forward is. It makes it so hard for Ferry. Even just running between buttons, because her buttons now have like added recovery to them. Running forward is awesome. And especially when she doesn't have spear available and is recharging, it's very hard for her to actually get a meaningful punish on you. So I love the run forward here. You gotta do it. Goes for the target combo, but the frame trap actually catches her jumping out. Mixing up with the jumps. You're going for a lot of M's. Now, I don't think going for the M frame trap is bad, because obviously you get a lot of damage if it hits. But I will say, if you do it too much, it will just become predictable for Ferry. So she's not DP'd yet, and you should take this into consideration. The L's in this matchup are very good. The slow DP means that it's hard for her to actually DP an L. She has to do it super early, which makes baiting things even easier. So doing like a far L or a close L, hopefully. Close L is so good in this matchup, because even if she DPs, a lot of the time it will just, you can block afterwards. Or the 2L, which is also amazing because it low profiles like from some range her DP. So yeah, going for the M's is fine. I don't mind going for the sort of like higher reward option, but it doesn't add much versatility to your aggression. Gets knocked down into GG. Good boot. Yeah, look at these run-ups. There's a reason why these are working, and it's because of the fear of everything else. And I will say that the fireball, though it's very good in this matchup, she can on reaction punish it with EX spear, to my knowledge, and she can just do the normal spear in anticipation. So there's something to be wary about there, and doing it outside of far M range helps a lot as well for you, because she won't just like clap you just randomly. Okay, so you get caught running forward here. I will say, if you are playing Gran and you are running forward, just hover a pinky, make it classy, hover a pinky over that special button, because the cool thing about Gran is his DP easy input is forward and special. So just hover over. If she jumps at you, just slap her out of the air. It's the easiest thing to do. Neutral jumping for Ferry, she's going to do it versus Fireball sometimes. You see people do it quite a bit. Just hover over that DP button. Little tech here. She's gone to this option a couple of times where she's just kind of auto-cancelling into the spear, which you can confirm it with the EX version. If you get a counter hit, you can get like a nice, quite easy confirm from far H. But this should be a little sign for you. Maybe I would now take this into consideration. Okay, she's going for a spear a lot in neutral. That means I'm going to start maybe looking a bit more for the roll forward, because the roll forward is so good. She can't do anything to punish you rolling forward after this, like during the spear. So that's pretty decent way to get in. Once again, just running forward, which I love. Yes, nice. And yeah, once again, hover over that DP button, man. Super good. Ooh, that sucks for Ferry. That sucks, man. What a hitbox. But you don't get any mix-up off that due to just like hitting once. She's anti-ed a couple of times now, so it's definitely something to take on board. If you get an anti-ed a lot, that means that you're not giving enough threats elsewhere. Going for that ball, huh? Ooh, okay, you're sick. Yes, see, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is why this pressure is so good. Look at the delay you put on that, and you still manage to block the DP. Unfortunately, you don't get a punish, but you know you could have. But even still, it's just super good. And back throwing out of the corner, I don't need to say anything about that. You know, it's not typically the best option. I do like the meaty 5U though, but Ferry is now going to just slap out. Yeah, you know, don't want to throw him out of the corner. You want to keep that positioning. Some straightforward stuff there, just like some quite basic errors with like missing punishes and things like that, which can be easily fixed. Okay, she's getting a little bit more button happy in neutral to stop these run forwards, and that's where your fireball comes in. Ooh, big sweep. Alright, we're tapping away at toes. And sometimes, you know, when you go for these, sometimes I believe you can do like far L to convert them, which might be something worth looking into. Nice overhead. And let's look at this sequence, because you've tried to bait the DP a couple of times. You can tell by like the sort of hesitant strings, but this time she does DP. And why is that? It's because of the overhead. The overhead and like showing that you have all these different ways of opening her up, that's what forced the DP, and that's where, you know, this situation happened. Oh, unfortunate dodge. And that's going to be a lot of what we talk about here, I think, is just diversifying your aggressive options as Gran to make sure Ferry feels like she needs to DP out, because you can't, it's no good just baiting it. You have to give them a reason to do it in the first place. You know, in the first round you kind of bait it just because you want to check out what sort of player you're fighting against, but you know, later on it's where the mind games begin. And once again, that pressure, it's not bad, but like she is just blocking it. And it's because it's not really that scary. Even then, like, because she's blocked it so many times, just go for the run forward and make it a bit more scary. She's letting you get away with like a lot of stuff and not DPing out. Yeah, we've got to remember there's like not that many ways for Ferry to get out of the corner. She wants to push you away with buttons or get GG out. When she has GG out, it's kind of a wrap to your turn. Or she wants to jump. So you kind of got to consider one of those options. I believe she's gone for GG twice now. I think this is the second time, but yeah, might start being something you want to put at the top of your head to react to. Once again, you can't react to everything Ferry does. It's all about reacting to specific things according to the way the opponent is playing. If you try and react to everything, you kind of just lose. You have to just like switch around what you do. Okay, so this clash is always really funny. It happened quite far away. It's normally a bit worse when it happens closer, but it essentially works as a safe jump. You can do like a jump button here, and Ferry can't do anything about it. it's pretty screwed up. But I think maybe just due to the range that wasn't possible. Maybe if you had gone for like a jump M or something, it could have worked. It's hard to tell, but yeah, that situation sucks for Ferry. It's giving you a safe jump. Nice. The run up, yes, I love it. Tapping away at toes, but just trying to... You're baiting the DP a bit too hard here. Like, she's not gone for it for a while. And I think it's because, like, we've not seen that many throws. The one throw we saw was the back throw. I think just you need to mix it up. When you've gone for, like, the overhead, she's DP'd out immediately out of fear. So that should be a sign. Like, doing one of these bigger options may actually be the thing that gets you those baits. All right, walking far away. And I can see you're doing this to start establishing a fireball game, which I don't mind at all. I think it's okay for Gran to do that and not want to play in the mid-range. But he still has good mid-range options versus Ferry. You still have things like, you know, your DP, your roll forward, your jump forward, your 2U, which is super good. You know, you have options. And then once again, the run forward, the dodge at the end, I mean, she's not done anything to show that you need to do this, but even still, it worked. Bit of visual noise. All right, the frame trap worked. And yeah, once again, you mixed up the options there with the jump, and that's when she DPs out. You can tell she's looking for like certain signs to DP. You might be able to get a button here. Maybe a far B would have connected, because I know Ladiva, after a dodge forward, you can do far M. So maybe you could have done the same. I'm not entirely sure. The distance does look quite far. But it's worth looking into, like, what is your punish button after a rolled spear. I think it's so important for this matchup. Oh, you got away with it. Sick. Yes, I love that. Oh, okay. All right. This is awesome. Spending the EX Fireball, I think, is just fine as Gran when you've got Ferry cornered. You need to take full advantage of this, right? Because if you bait a DP from Ferry, it's ridiculous how hard it is for her to do anything. If spending the EX Fireball means that you get to run back forward again and start your pressure again, that is very, very important. And I do think it's worth spending, even though it will make neutral hard for you if she does manage to get out of the corner until that cooldown's finished. It's worth it. It's worth it. And this is what I'm talking about, diversifying options. This whole sequence is rad. So you go for the target combo and the run up and the delay jump there. You ran right into her face, baiting a throw, which is awesome. You get the punish. Unfortunately, the punish doesn't pay off. You don't confirm it. That's okay. I mean, I've done it to you where you have like the throw in your head and you're not looking to confirm the jump, but something to definitely try and do is like get hit confirming those jump attacks down, especially when you're baiting something. And then you get the throw anyway, and you can tell that she's going to be nervous now. Yeah, see, trying to force her way out of the corner, and that DP was so inevitable. You could see the head, like the Ferry starting to scramble. Overhead's great. This pressure is looking super nice. Unfortunately, there's the 2U. We're getting a bit too liberal with it, but that's what I'm saying, man. Like the close L and 2L is so good if you want to be a bit more flexible. The 2Ms and the far M's and stuff like that, they just don't afford you the same flexibility just due to their plus frames and they're so laggy and have push black. Okay, we've seen a couple of cancels into Ferry. Yeah, I would like to see a bit of boots through that, but I understand it's not as easy as I'm saying it is. So this mix up here from Ferry, the real mix comes after 2 hits where she pushes you towards GG and then she can do the overhead. At this point, all you have to react to is the throw, really. I wouldn't even take the overhead. Just react to the throw, because she can throw you into GG and that's where it gets scary. But if you tech, even a late tech, GG disappears and we're back to neutral and she's still waiting for GG to come back. Big jump out. Yeah, nice. That was actually a really good mash. This is the thing about target combos in general. I see you went for the throw there, which is a really cool idea. But target combos, often people will mash them just because if you try and reset into a throw, you get the mash out. You see people do it quite a lot, especially versus grapplers. Oh my god, everyone mashes during a target combo. So I think it's worth learning how to frame trap there. I think you've done it once before, so this could have just been a read. But yeah, trying not to go into the target combo is important. Target combo mix-ups are very, very simplistic, and until you show the frame trap, they're not going to be that scared. you just want to get that closer. Yeah. Right, seeing it a lot more now with the spear mix. The fireball game's not really working, but that should give you the opportunity to roll forward more, because the fairy player is not reacting with EX spear. They're instead just throwing out the normal spear in anticipation. And once again, she's always doing something after this mix-up. Every single time you've gone for the overhead, she's mashed or DP'd. But yeah, the spear, so now that they're going for it a lot more... Okay, that was the bait. Nice. The Fairy's mind game's super good, to be fair. The spear, now that she's going for it more, that means that the roll forward is going to be way more important in this match. The fireball game establishes a bunch of things. It establishes the necessity for Fairy to either react with EX spear or anticipate with your normal version of the spear. As soon as she starts doing either of those options, the reaction's going to afford you to just run forward, and the normal spear is going to afford you to run forward and dodge. These are two mind games you can really get going as Gran, because she doesn't want to deal with the fireball being on screen. If the fireball's on screen, you get to run up and just do what you want, and it's safe. All you have to react to is like very simple things like the jump and the spear. So I think there was a lot here that you did really well. The times where you were mixing up your pressure was really good. But I don't think you kind of caught on to the idea that the mix-ups were what was making her scared and making her kind of lash out with the DPs. There was like that one last overhead where you tried to bait, which is really cool, and the fairy player just guessed correctly, which is, you know, that's going to happen sometimes. But if you earlier on had got that mind game going, you could have probably baited a lot more DPs. It's very difficult sometimes to feel like, when you feel like, oh, I'm just getting DP'd out, like what the fuck is going on? But there's sometimes like a method to that, and it's like, what are the signs, like what are the triggers for this opponent to get DP, like start DPing? They weren't DPing when you were doing, you know, your 2Bs. They weren't DPing when they DP'd once when you did 2L. But I think just throwing more 2Ls and close Ls, I know I'm kind of banging on about it, but I feel like doing that more gives you way more opportunities to mix up how you're being aggressive. Like doing like just a 2L into a throw is so good, or doing 2L and it baiting a DP is so good. Doing more of that and mixing more run forwards in there, because you did bait a cut like a DP really nicely when you ran forward during a pressure string. Doing more things like that will really help the Fairy become like vulnerable with like mad DPs. As a Gran player, you can't play too, you don't want to be too safe. You don't want to just like keep your strings really basic, because it will just allow the opponent to wait it out, and you shouldn't be able to wait out Gran. I think that's the thing. You shouldn't be able to just like sit and wait for him to use all his tools. Actually, the whole scary thing should be that he's resetting his pressure so much that you feel like you need to start mashing, and that's where the safe stuff comes into use. Anyway, hopefully that was helpful for you. If you want to send in a replay, please do. I'm really enjoying going through people's matches. I'm learning tons, and like it's really good to see how people are adapting to each other, even at the like a lower level than what I was watching previously with all the Japanese stuff. I'm finding this so much fun, because those lot play against each other all the time, so you don't necessarily see some of the mind games you get, because if you're playing against people all the time, mind games develop past the point where it's like even comprehensible from an outside. Whereas if you're watching new people fighting each other of like a good level, or any sort of level, you'll see mind games on a very basic sort of like trajectory. You'll see like this causes this, and I think that's awesome. Anyway, take care of yourselves. Hope you're all doing well, and have a lovely day.